What is going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to Bourbinsane. Today we are back and we are trying two products I have never even seen on the shelf, but I am super pumped to try given the specs on these bottles. We have got some High and Wicked today. We've got their straight rye whiskey and we have got their straight bourbon. Now, these are sourced products, but I think the sourcing on these bottles actually gives us some pretty good promise. So let's start with the bourbon. Mash bill on this is a 51% corn, 39% rye, 10% malted barley, and it is a sweet mash. So undisclosed on the distillery on this one, but given that information, we know it's probably one of two distilleries where they're sourcing from. Wilderness Trail, because Wilderness Trail has been very transparent about where they get or what their mash bills are on their whiskey, and they use the sweet mash process. Also Peerless. Now Peerless has a very distinct profile for me, so I think if this is a Peerless product, I hopefully will be able to tell. But they don't say mash bill. Peerless doesn't disclose either. We do know it's usually 51% corn, but beyond that, they don't say. They just say high rye. And this is high rye. 39% rye is a lot. So I'm expecting a pretty bold flavor profile on this. Now this bottle is aged 5 years, non-chill filtered, 52%, level 4 char. So all specs we love. I mean, all specs us bourbon lovers love and want. So I'm excited to try that one. Let's move over to the rye real quick and discuss this one. Now this is disclosed where they get this from. This comes from New Riff Distillery, which I'm excited about. This is a 91% rye and 9% malted barley. So no corn in this one at all. 91 rye, 9 barley. From New Riff, aged 5 years. Same specs, no, not sweet mash, but sour mash they use over at New Riff. Now if any of you have had the New Riff 8 year that came out, that was a very good bottle. I was fortunate enough to get a sample of that. I didn't get able to find a full bottle, but I did get a sample, and that was some good stuff. I mean, 8 years isn't necessarily 5 years, but I am expecting some similarities between that. This is still non-chill filtered and a little bit lower proof, 49.1%. So a little bit lower, but I think, again, given the specs on this bottle, I have high hopes for it. I have high hopes for it, so we're going to find out. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the bourbon. Since it's such a high rye, I don't want it to destroy my palate on the first sip. So, medium hay looking color on this. 5 years as discussed. Again, I think this is going to be Wilderness Trail, just given that mash bill. But I should immediately be able to tell on the nose if it's Peerless. Let's find out. Yeah, I'd say about 70% chance this is Wilderness, not Peerless. With Peerless, I almost always get a very farmy, earthy note probably from that sweet mash process. This is very fruit forward to me on this. A lot of citrus, a lot of orange, a lot of pear. I'm thinking brighter fruits on this. It's definitely got some peppery spice on it. I'd say more of a white pepper. Little bit of clove, not much oak coming through on it though. Not much at all. Could just be the age, but usually even a lower age you can smell some of that oak and it smells like a grainier oak. I'm not getting even the grainy oak, so that's probably a good sign too. So let's give it a sip. Cheers. Yeah, I still think it's Wilderness Trail. I'm holding true to that. The sweet mash comes through on the palate a lot more, though. It's got a lot more of those fresh notes. You know, when I think of sweet mash, my mind immediately goes to both Wilderness Trail and Peerless. And it's just the sweet mash is kind of a very distinct flavor. It's very hard to describe for me. So unless you've had it, it's hard to say exactly what it is. But it's like I said, it's kind of a farmy, earthy for me. You know, 52%, it doesn't drink that way. It drinks actually much lower than that to me. Given so much rye in this, 39% rye, I was really thinking this is going to be super hot. The non-chill filtered, the 52%, I was expecting it to just take over my palate. I'm getting a nice mouthfeel. You know, I'm getting a nice mouthfeel on it. It is leaving me salivating, but this is my first bourbon of the day, too. That tends to happen. Let's give it one more sip. It's good. I mean, everything you get on the nose, the citrus, the fresh fruits, not real dark fruits. Usually the older something is for me, I get more depth and darker fruits tend to come through. This is definitely heading towards that brighter fruit note, you know. A little more, actually, lemon and lemongrass coming through on this, probably from the high rye, but it's still classic bourbon notes, you know, baking spice and then fresh bright citrus. So not bad. Not bad. I don't know. I want a little bit more from it. You know what I mean? At that proof, the non-chill filtering, the high rye, I just thought it was going to kick the palate, you know, which I wanted. I wanted to kick the palate, but it didn't happen. So let's go into the rye, though. This is 91% rye, so this should be a kick right in the palate. This is actually a little bit darker, I think, than... Yeah, this is darker than the bourbon. 5 years, again, from New Riff, and 91% rye. I'm excited for this. Ooh. Yeah, that's rye whiskey all the way. All the way. You know, I'm not... A little bit of dill coming through. Classic rye whiskey note, but this honestly tends to smell more like a Maryland rye to me. Something like a Sagamore. I'm going to have a review coming out of Sagamore, the cask strength, very soon. Maryland rye has a very distinct nose to me. This actually has got a little more bourbon, like bourbon note, which is surprising because there's zero corn in this. It's malted barley. But it's got a lot of sweetness in it. This is all lemon peel and orange peel for me. Yeah, it smells good though. That smells really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, rye tends to show the age a little more, even if it's younger. So a 5-year rye may be the equivalent to like an 8-year bourbon as far as aging goes. You know, I think it's like a 2 to 3 year difference where rye ages a little bit faster. So let's give this one a taste. Yeah, much better mouthfeel, much better finish, much better flavor profile, honestly. Surprising for me because I'm usually more of a bourbon guy than a rye guy, at least I used to be. Now that I've progressed on my whiskey journey a little bit, I'm tending to head towards more rye a little bit. This is lower proof, only 49.1, but I think New Riff is just such a good distillery. They know what they're doing. And it does give you the, you know, the remnants or the thoughts about that 8-year. Again, I've only had one sample, so it's hard to say 100%, but yeah, it's a nice nose, nice palate. Let's give it a sip. This used to be a 95.5. They altered the mash bill a little bit to 91.9. And that was because they just thought the flavor profile was better, honestly. And honestly, this is really, really good. I am a big fan of this rye. Man, this is good. I mean, you're getting the char on this, like a char from the barrel. This is level 4 char, as mentioned, but it's really coming through on the palate on this. But it's got a very, like I said, a very Maryland rye forward. That's good. That's good. Even more fruity than the bourbon, as far as like the peel, the lemon peel, orange peel. So it's got a little more of that bitterness. Bitterness probably from the rye, from the barrel, as opposed to the bourbon. But the mouthfeel, the finish, the coating of the palate, all that stuff is much better in the rye to me. Much better. Surprising, given it's even a few points lower in proof, but I guess that elevation in rye just makes all the difference. Thank you all so much for watching the video today. I hope you guys like this review. Trying these products I have never been able to try before. Super pumped I got to try these, honestly. The bourbon, definitely not bad, but for me, I'm going the rye all day on this one. Both of these do retail right around $79.99, so $80. I have not seen these locally. I'm thinking maybe Kentucky and that general area is probably where these are going to be located. For me, I mean, I actually like this rye that much that I'd probably pay near $80 for this. Even though it's a 5-year rye, I think it just gives you that New Riff 8-year flavor profile, you know? And for me, I'd be paying that. The bourbon, on the other hand, I don't think I would. I've had a lot of Wilderness Trail in my day, and those are usually cheaper than $80, honestly. Not a bad bottle by any means, but I just wanted a little bit more from that mouthfeel, that finish, that proof. And it didn't come through for me. So, but overall, not bad. You know, really not bad for either one. Glad I got to try them. Super pumped. If you guys haven't already, please do like, subscribe to the channel. Check out my website, bourbinsane.com. I'm putting out content multiple times a week over there. And if you haven't yet, please support the channel on Patreon. You know, I'm back to doing this consistently. Loving it. It's been great. Can't ask for anything else. And your support does mean the world to me. All of you. Even just liking the video, commenting on the video. You know, that does help a lot. So I thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what else you want to see. Any side-by-sides, reviews of certain things, and I'll bring them to you. All right? Stay insane, everyone.